All right, give it up for Joshua.
Okay, my name's Joshua, and I wanted to do my Zenith on a cartoon animation. So for my characters, I wanted to draw a cat and some type of like humanoid character, and I wanted to give like both of them kind of like cartoony like characteristics, like being able to like be indestructible for like no reason at all, and then also they're able to like exaggerate their like body motions like in like unrealistic ways. So I wanted to implement that for my characters. And then for the setting, I wanted to draw like mainly stuff in like nature, and then like halfway through my animation, I wanted it to like transition into like a more like dark building kind of setting. And just like for the background and the characters, I didn't want to use like too many like bright colors, but also like get meshed with like the special effects. And I didn't want my characters to like blend in into the background too much. And then here's just like some inspiration pictures for like the background. It didn't like turn out exactly like these like images, but I did like try to like take inspiration from them for like the clouds and the sky, and then also like the grass. And then I did try to like draw this building, and it turned out all right. And then here are my characters. These two characters are like the initial character designs. I didn't like end up drawing them like this because like it would take like too much time to like animate them with like more detail. Um, I guess like Marlin kind of looks somewhat similar throughout the animation, but I feel like it could have been a lot more consistent. And just like some information about them, TV guy or Wilbert levitates on like two cone legs, and then spooky guy, he's like out to like kill Marlin and TV guy because he has a midlife crisis, so he doesn't really know what to do with his life, and so he just tries to kill them. And then Marlin, he has like super strength. He looks like a normal cat, but he's actually from outer space. Yeah. And then for my inspiration, yeah, for my inspiration for the characters, TV guy is inspired by Veronica from Forsaken, which is a game on Roblox. She's basically just like a TV head, and then the rest of her body is like made out of like metal parts. I try to like differentiate between the two by giving him like cone legs, and that was like partly also because I thought it would be easier to like animate the character because there would be like less to animate. And then I guess like the character design for a spooky guy, it's like not as like inspired by like slasher, but like they both like carry chainsaws. And I don't remember how I came across this image. I just saw it and I thought it looked funny to animate, and I did try to draw him. And then for the programs I used Photoshop, and I used a smudge tool, and I try to like use different brushes. And then in After Effects, I did like the sound effects, and then the video editing for like the intro scene. And then I also like made this like explosion based off a tutorial. And I went into like the control and effects. Wait, no, the effects and presets panel, and I went to CC wide time plus the CC ball action, and I could like change like the dot size for like the explosion so it looked more like a cartoon. And then for my process, I tried like changing the opacity for like characters when they were like getting like vaporized, or like the smoke was like kind of like fading out. And then also I put like a solid black rectangle and then just like faded that out for like the outro scene. And then I also like try to like draw different like cat poses. I thought it'd like challenge me because I didn't really like try to like animate cats before. So yeah. And then for the tools I used in like Photoshop, for the smudge tool, I would like basically like draw like one frame with like just the brush tool, and then I would like duplicate that layer, and I would use the smudge tool to like smudge out the edges in the direction that the motion was like going for that animation. And then I also like messed with like the blend layer using like the soft light, and then I like duplicated that layer, and then it made like this like bright blue vivid effect, which I thought was pretty cool. And then here's like some of my process shots. I like started outlining the characters and then like did coloring. And here's like more of my progress shots. And then my reflection, I did try to like use like impact frames for like more like heavy impact scenes and like more like fast-paced scenes, but I didn't really like incorporate it that much into my animation. Like only like did it like once, and I also like really enjoyed drawing cats and trying to like animate different poses. And I also like found like drawing the first, middle, and like last frame really helpful. Instead of like just doing it like as I went from the first frame, it just like made things like feel like less choppy in the end. And then also I would have like liked to incorporate like lighting into my animation, because I didn't really like do that, but I feel like it would have made it a lot cooler. And then also like better choice in sound effects. And I would have loved to also put more detail into my characters and make them more consistent in how they looked throughout the whole animation, because they look like they kind of like morphed as like the animation goes on. And then also I would have liked to put more detail into the background. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, time for questions, or I don't know.
That was so cute.
Thank
Oh my god, I
you.
love it.
Okay.
Like your next animation, do you think you do best with interaction?
I'll try to listen to your advice. I think it would be better if I incorporated like blocking, and then it would probably make my characters like look more consistent throughout the whole thing. Hannah.
First off, I just want to say I like love the animation. It's so fun, and you really captured like the cartoon feeling with like the sound effects too. I wanted to ask, like, are there any specific cartoons that inspired it? I know you showed like Tom and Jerry at the beginning, but like, was that the main inspiration, or were there other things?
Well, I guess like for that scene where Marlon gets like vaporized, it kind of was inspired by like Gumball. So yeah, Blondie.
First of all, I know somebody mentioned the chicken scratch, but I think you are being a little harsh on yourself. I think it looks really nice.
Thank you.
I really like it's a little rough, but it has its own charm to it, and I think it looks really cute. I also really love when we get slammed out for saying this. The humor in this project. And I think it's really funny. He's just very silly. I like the juxtaposition of the cat and the scary looking guy and the cat being like an almighty being. I love the absurdism of it. It's great. You did a really great job. And you should give yourself more credit.
Thank you.
I think this is like the first of your work that I've seen, and I think it shows a lot of your personality and humor, and I find it like, what's the word? Like, has a lot of like passion and heart.
Thank you.
I really like your backgrounds, and I wanted to ask like, how do you like plan out your scenes, and like, I want this for this, and I want like this background for this.
Well, I was basically just like searching up stuff on the internet and like use those as like references. So yeah. I think that's it. Thank you.